Oh yeah, did I mention that you have like a bunch of DNA? You have about 20,000 protein coding genes, each thousands to millions of bases long, and that only makes up around 1% of your entire DNA. The rest is just non-coding. Plus, almost every cell in your body contains your entire genetic code, but certain genes can be turned on and off depending on the cell, which is good because otherwise your brain cells might just start making stomach acid, which would not be good. Fun fact, if you were to stretch out the DNA of just one single cell, it would be about 2 meters long. Wait a minute, how does that fit into a microscopic cell? Well, if you were to look inside the nucleus, you wouldn't find the DNA just floating around like this, or even this. No, you would actually find lots of these worm-looking things. To be exact, DNA is coiled up around proteins called histones, which are then condensed into strands of chromatin, which are then coiled up even more to make tightly packed units of DNA called chromosomes, which kind of look like worms. Different sections on a chromosome carry different genes, and the entire human genome is split amongst 23 different chromosomes, although every body cell has 2 copies of every chromosome, one from the mother and one from the father. For most chromosomes, the 2 copies are said to be homologous, meaning that they carry the same genes in the same locations. However, the 2 versions of a gene can be different, so the mother's gene could code for brown eyes while the father's gene codes for blue eyes. These different versions of a gene are called alleles. For most of your genes, you have 2 alleles, one on each chromosome from either parent. These alleles can be dominant or recessive, which determines which of them is expressed. For example, brown eye color is a dominant trait, which is shown by an uppercase B, whereas blue is recessive, which is shown by a lowercase b. All this means is that if you have the dominant brown allele, you will have brown eyes, no matter what the second allele is. Only when there are 2 recessive alleles will it be expressed. With this knowledge, we can predict the future. Let's look at how this trait is inherited from parents to children. Both of these parents have brown eyes, but also have a recessive blue allele in their genotype. Every child receives one allele from each parent randomly, so these are the possible combinations for the children. Most combinations contain the dominant brown allele, so the child will have brown eyes. But there is a small chance that a child gets 2 recessive alleles and has blue eyes, even though both parents had brown eyes. You see, it's what's on the inside that counts. Alright, that's cool, but reality is not always so simple. Some genes are not fully dominant, but not fully recessive either, which means that the phenotype, so the appearance, appears to mix. Crossing a red and a white snapdragon, where red is dominant and white is recessive, gives you a pink phenotype, which is somewhere in between, aka intermediate inheritance. Or crossing a brown and a white cow, where both colors are dominant, could give you a spotted cow, so both phenotypes are expressed equally, aka codominance.